All right, this just came in. Super excited because it's like the latest and greatest, but at the same time, it's also like kind of like a throwback because I think this is the laptop that I think everyone was really wanting last year. And I ended up buying the 13-inch M1 MacBook last year. And honestly, I didn't really use it as much as I thought I would. And I actually went back to my 2018 MacBook Pro. So this one right here, I think is the one that everyone wanted last year. But so let's just get this thing opened up. Just do a quick unboxing. The new Apple MacBook Pro 16-inch Max. Oh, that is kind of cool. Look at that. They even made like cool packaging. And here it is. Let's get this thing unboxed. This is the 32 gig, 1 terabyte SSD 16-inch. Like I mentioned, I did get the 13-inch M1 and I wanted to get a smaller one because when I first bought it, I thought I'd be traveling. But of course, since this whole pandemic happened, there was no traveling. All right, let's get this thing opened up. There's a little tab right here. And I think you just pull this across. Not really much of a sound, but I'll take it. Ta-da! Lift this up. Oh yeah. Okay, yeah, this is like, if you haven't used the older MacBook Pros, or if you have used them, you will know this feeling. You will know this shape because, like I said, this is like a throwback in a way to the older MacBook Pros. Oh, and I went with that gray, that darker gray. They have the silver and the gray. I did go with the darker gray. Wow, this thing is actually bigger than I thought. But look how pretty this looks. And on the back, oh, look at that. MacBook Pro is actually kind of etched in there. So it's not just like a little logo or sticker. It is etched in there. You can actually see the little feet on the bottom of the MacBook. So it comes off more likely not only just for protection on the tables, but I would assume it's also probably for heat. A couple pieces of info here, MacBook Pro. This is welcome to your MacBook Pro. Next we have the charger. This is a 140 watt USB-C charging brick. You have the USB-C on this part, then the plug here. Ooh, it's braided. We have a braided cable. What would have been nice if they included those hooks that they did from before. They had those little hooks that allow you to roll this up. On this side, we do have the HDMI, full-size HDMI port right here. We have 3 Thunderbolt 4 ports. There's one on this side next to the SD card reader. So we do have the SD card reader right here, but there's one on this side. There's 2 Thunderbolts on this side. And then of course we have the MagSafe. So glad that they brought that back. I don't know why they got rid of it, but for those that don't know, MagSafe allows you to power it up just like that. And if someone were to accidentally trip or pull this, it just snaps right off, so you don't have to deal with your laptop being yanked away. And the main reason why I say this one right here is kind of like a throwback because it reminds me of this one right here. This is my MacBook Pro from 2008. I've pretty much been on Apples. I've been on MacBooks or Apples in general my entire career. So I started off in design. I'm still in design. And I've been using Macs my entire life. This is from 2008, and look at that. It is about the same size as my older MacBook, and even the height is almost the same. Look at how many ports we have here on the side, and we also had the MagSafe back then, so that's the reason why a lot of people were happy to have it back. The only reason why I use this laptop still is because this is the only one that can run my Serato DJ software itch on it. So I've kept this one working because I can't run the software on the newer laptops. I have to run it on the older one. So I'm glad I found this one to still use for my DJ setup. There you go. Ooh, it actually turns on. Look at that. It actually just turned on right away right when I opened it up. Pretty cool. Check that out. There's nothing nicer than a MacBook Pro on its startup, and you see how vibrant the screen is, how everything looks. Of course, now I'm looking at the notch because the notch, everyone's making a big deal of it, but it actually just kind of reminds me of a phone, so not that big of a deal. Now, one of the main differences on the keyboard, we don't have that Touch ID bar anymore, which I have still on my M1. Of course, I want to get this thing up and running. The most recent drone I got, like I talked about earlier, if you guys haven't seen the Evolve, it also shoots in ProRes, so I do want to just have a lot more powerful machine in general, just to be able to handle all the edits I do in Final Cut, just to have multi-layer 4K clips. And that was one of the main reasons why I got this machine here. I am super excited to start editing on this machine right now. I'm still using my 2018 one, which still works, but it definitely chugs once you start putting multi-layer 4K clips on there, as well as I use a lot of motion tracking. So when I do some of my titling and things like that, it just really eats up the machine. And that's the reason why I want to hopefully get this thing up to speed and get this thing, everything installed, so I can start seeing how much faster it'll be compared to my previous MacBook Pro. And there it is. Just wanted to do a quick unboxing before I start getting this thing up and running with Final Cut, Photoshop, all my Adobe suite, all that goodies onto this laptop so I can start editing on here, and ideally maybe do some comparisons to my older 2008, as well as even the M1 13-inch. As always, if you guys got some value from this video, a big like would be much appreciated. This is Ultra Anastasio with FlytPath.com. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.